Hey, what's going on YouTube? Lionel here. There was a couple of videos that I was going to attempt to do before the new year. Here's one of the two. So anyway, let me first say Merry Christmas to everyone. I hope everyone had a joyous Christmas. You can let me know in the comments what you got, anything that was on your wish list that was accomplished. My wish list changes so much, but needless to say, I've done a pretty good job, just to let you know. So believe it or not, I haven't purchased anything, I think, since the end of August. And that was because I've had a small wager with my 7-year-old who said I was just getting way too many packages. So we put a bet that I could not buy any fragrances from that point forward through the end of the year, that I couldn't purchase anything into the new year. There was a great deal of temptation. There was a lot of good deals out there. One of the reasons that I just got off my alias for the Facebook was because of that reason. It's just the temptation just way too strong. So I mean, even if I just a decant, there were so many great decant deals and those types of things, and bottle deals, and people just trying to fire sales. So anyway, I've done a good job. I hadn't purchased anything since, I think, again, the second or third week in August, maybe the third week in August. Done very, very well from that perspective. So with that said, I guess, I don't know. I mean, there are a few things that are on my list, but I've actually, because of the purchase ban or whatever, the purchase wager that I have with my son, the funny thing is I end up enjoying a lot of fragrances that were already in my collection, and a great deal of them, man. I mean, just some things that just really impressed me. Issey Miyake Intense, Versace Pour Homme, when it was warmer. I got a lot out of one of the fragrances I'm going to mention here. I'll talk to you about that more then. Let me see what else. A couple of Bonds that I have been wearing, New Harlem, but there was just a great deal of fragrance. Chergui, I mean, Chergui just really blew my head over the last couple of months. Just impressed. I mean, I've always loved it, but it's funny when you get to kind of study it and wear it multiple times in a week. Just the layers and the facets of a certain fragrance. So I've really done I've done 180s on fragrances. That's going to be my other one. There's a couple of fragrances that I liked, that I didn't love, that really after I've worn them for a while, I'm like, man, these things are really, really good. I mean, they're a lot more underrated, or a lot more classier than we've given them credit. So with that said, here's something I'm going to do today. So here are 5 fragrances that are marketed towards women that I enjoy wearing on myself. Now, that means I actually wear these fragrances, and I wear them quite a bit. So with that said, I'm going to jump right into it. Again, here are 5 fragrances that are marketed towards women that I own and wear, and a couple of these on a regular basis. So some of these are decants. Actually, shout out to Calvin Chong on the first one. So Calvin Chong, he's on Facebook as Calvin Chong. I don't know what he does on YouTube. I don't think he's ever done a review, but he has been active, I think, in the YouTube community, but a lot more active on Facebook. So shout out to you, Calvin Chong. And the first one is Black Orchid. Can you see that? Is that focusing at all? So that's my little makeshift label. Calvin Chong sent me this. I was going to buy a bottle. Actually, there was someone who was selling a lot of fragrances for a really good deal. So I passed them along to him. Black Orchid is just beautiful. It's so funny that every time I've worn it, I've gotten compliments. And the responses when I tell them that it is a women's fragrance is usually always sort of like, are you serious? You wear women's fragrances? Because I'm a big dude, I mean, I don't know if I look as big here, but I'm about 6 feet, about 248 pounds, 45 pounds. So I'm not a small guy by any means. So when they say a big man like me, who's, I guess fairly masculine, saying I wear women's fragrances, people are sort of taken aback or maybe surprised. But some people who know me aren't really that surprised by it, because they understand that I'm a collector of fragrances, and that may cross over into women's fragrances. But they're just really impressed, I think, by the fact that how some of these things smell. And Black Orchid is one. Black Orchid is fairly masculine in some facets of it. Now, there's some sweetness and there's some other notes, but there's quite a bit of it that really goes masculine on my skin. I was trying to figure out really what those were. From the note breakdown, I was pulling it back up again. I was just looking at it, sort of rehearsing it. I've never done a review on this one, I don't believe, so I'm not really familiar with it from a technical perspective. But anyway, long story short, Black Orchid goes very masculine on me, and I really just assume it's the patchouli incense notes, some of the darker and the spicy notes that really stand out on masculine skin. So with that said, the first one is Black Orchid. If you're a male and you like stuff on a sweeter side, a little bit floral, not super floral, because I think really the chocolate, patchouli, and some of the other notes dominate this one. But there is a floral undertone to it. If you don't like florals, I would probably avoid this one. But if you don't, go get your nose on it. I mean, just stop by Sephora or one of those stores and try to get a sniff of it. Black Orchid is a really wonderful fragrance. So the next one is, it was fairly popular on the masculine side, but the female one I think is actually better, and that's Lolita Lempicka. And this is the feminine one. I guess it's Pour Femme. I don't even know, but it is just a gorgeous fragrance. And it really shares a lot of the same notes that the masculine one does, but it really does, I think, a better job at the other one. I think I remember when I smelled it, I really didn't like it a lot. So I know that is fairly popular with a lot of guys, but for some reason Lolita Lempicka, the original one, just the masculine one anyway, really didn't do a whole bunch for me. This is Lolita Lempicka for women, so I guess that's what it's called. Guess I never really paid attention to the name of it. I'm on Fragrantica now looking at it, and this is just a very wonderful fragrance. Now, a lot of people get some of the powdery components. For me, it's really the anise, the star anise, the licorice, and the vanilla really does a really good job with me. And then I get, something in it sort of gives me a more dark, sort of a darker undertone to it. The powderiness really doesn't happen for me, but I think that some of the incense and the leather and the anise goes a bit darker on our skin than I guess, and maybe some of the florals, because if you go to the heart of this fragrance, there are a bit of florals, violet and some other stuff, ivy. I don't even know what ivy smells like really. That sort of on women, and a lot of women, if you go on Fragrantica, believe that it's sort of masculine and dark. So excuse me, check out Lolita Lempicka, the original for females. I mean, the bottle is very ultra feminine, so I don't think you're going to get around from that. So you may want to hide that. But the scent itself does very well on my skin. The longevity is great. The scent itself is great, very versatile, and garners compliments for me. So I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit. The next one is the sister of Prada Ambree Pour Homme, and it's Prada Ambree. And this is the Ambree one, not the Prada Amber whatever. The top just came out, but this one, man, is very gorgeous. This is sort of a this is actually a truer amber than Prada Ambree Pour Homme, which is sort of soapy. This one doesn't really have a lot of the soapy qualities in it. It sort of has more of a amberish, sweet. Trying to think what else. So it's sort of, there's a bit of patchouli in it, and a few other notes that really stand out for me. But it's really the opalescence and the amber that really stands out on my skin. And I think it's the patchouli that sort of gives it, a heavier base. So I actually like this one a little. I mean, I like the men's, but it goes kind of soapy. This one actually has a lot more character to it. I mean, and that happens with a lot of female scents, and that's why unisex scents have become so popular for males. But Prada Ambree, I think it's Lao Ambree, and I got this one for a really good price online. I think $20 for 30 mils or something like that. I don't even know, maybe $18 for 30 mils. It works very well on my skin. Longevity, not as good as funny, the longevity is not as good as the masculine one on me, which has pretty good longevity on me. But this one gives me a good 6 hours. And again, another one that garners compliments for me. The next one is Queen Latifah, and this is akin to Noir de Noir, West Side. Sort of has that feel to it. Big patchouli fragrance, sort of has an alcohol type of vibe to it. Some liqueur is in there somewhere, but it's sort of patchouli, some vanilla, and this boozy scent. So really good longevity. I mean, and this fragrance here, again, it's a heart on the bottle. So again, the bottle is ultra feminine. Needless to say, with that one, you can get it online for maybe $15 shipped to your door, and it's well worth it. Well worth it. I mean, I actually like it quite a bit. So that's Queen Latifah. It is a vanilla, boozy, amberish, patchouli type fragrance. Finally, the last one is by, I've done a review on this one. This is Lolita Lempicka L. I had the bottle. I ended up decanting half of this to myself, and I gave the bottle to someone else, another female friend who liked the fragrance. Oh my gosh, listen. This is sort of, I mean, listen to me. I'm not saying exactly, but it's sort of a sweeter Mahari's meets Musk Ravageur. The notes of it, cinnamon, spicy, vanilla, musky. Listen to me. If you like Musk Ravageur but find it too expensive, you may like this one. I mean, I think this one is actually closer to Musk Ravageur. I don't know. There's this orange note in there, so it's sort of a candied orange meets Musk Ravageur, sort of. Not as musky, obviously not as clovey as Musk Ravageur, but Maurice Rossel also made this one, so he's the perfumer of Musk Ravageur in this one, and he did a really good job with this fragrance. I think he had this one in mind, or he had Musk Ravageur in mind, this one in mind when he made Musk Ravageur. I thought he wanted to probably make something a bit more potent, something a bit more niche. But this one here is a Lolita Lempicka L, is a gorgeous fragrance. And again, this one can be had for maybe $25 for 50 mils, maybe even 100 mil. Could be about $28 online, and it's well worth it. So I actually like this one more than I like the original Lolita Lempicka. The longevity on this is amazing. Sort of a gingerbread, spice cake, cinnamon, orange fragrance. I don't know how else to put it, but it works very well. Works very well on masculine skin, at least on my skin. Maybe I have a natural musk or something that really helps a lot of the feminine fragrances and mans them up some. I don't know, but each of these fragrances, I think a man can pull out very easily. If I was to rank them on most masculine, it would probably be Black Orchid, then Lolita Lempicka, then the Prada, then the Lolita Lempicka, and then finally Queen Latifah. And I'll switch back and forth because the patchouli in Queen Latifah sort of gives it a masculine vibe, but it's probably the most feminine of these. But a man can easily, if a man can wear West Side or Noir de Noir, he can pull this one off. So anyway, those are 5 fragrances that are marketed towards women. I wanted to make this sort of conversational. Comment below. Let me know if you have any questions on any of these. 3 of the 5 you can get very reasonably. So that makes it even that much more attractive to give it a try. So if you're a male that's not afraid to wear stuff that are marketed towards women, give these a try. I think you may be impressed with them. Peace.